United USA 2020 and beyond.
Have been critical of others in the criminal justice system. State's Attorney Kim Foxx tweeted a reply late today, finger-pointing instead of talking honestly about the violence plaguing our city doesn't help bring solutions that make our communities safer. It starts with apprehending those who pull the trigger. Police must make an arrest before a case reaches the courthouse door. A Southside alderman wants the Illinois National Guard to patrol downtown in the wake of this past weekend's unrest and violence there.
We need to bring in the National Guard to secure the perimeter of downtown and to work along with the police to free up more officers to come from downtown back into the communities where we can help, flood the communities where the resources have been taken out of.
Let's stop that right there, ladies and gentlemen. The reason I want to stop this right here is because Mr. Alderman is a prime example of whether someone's on the left or the right. Okay, this is not a partisan issue. It's not about Democrats or Republicans. This is about the agenda of our government. They want violence to ensue in different places. They almost got what they wanted last year with BLM and Antifa and all the riots. They want that violence to ensue. Somebody says, well, what do you mean? What do you mean exactly? What do you mean that they want the violence to ensue? Why would they want that? Well, I'm going to answer that question. The reason they want that violence to ensue is so that they can find more reasons and justifications to roll in the National Guard so that eventually it starts from city to city with martial law. Even if it's kind of a passive-aggressive martial law, the way that COVID was in 2020, this is kind of that inevitable rollout of National Guard. That's what they want to do. It's what they're going to do at some point. They're going to look for any opportunity they can to escalate this agenda. And here's an example of Lori Lightfoot talking about her, BS. As normal, she's always spitting a bunch of hot air. Listen to what she had to say. Of course, as always, she points the finger in the opposite direction rather than take responsibility. She might say on one side of her mouth, yes, I take responsibility, and then on the other side of her mouth, she'll contradict herself. Just listen to what she says.
You're hurt by the violence.
I can't imagine losing your child and then feeling like your pain and your suffering isn't heard, isn't reflected. And we've got to do more as a city, and I take on that responsibility and that obligation to make sure that we are programmatically reaching out and providing more support to the victims, the survivors, and the witnesses, and we will do that.
Detail.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Beetlejuice, Lori Lightfoot, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a round of something. I don't know if it'd be applause. She is a sad, pathetic excuse for leadership. It's really, 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 truly disappointing. And she has such... Anybody ever see the movie Spider-Man? What's the famous line from the movie Spider-Man? With great power comes... Yeah, exactly. Great responsibility. She is an example, ladies and gentlemen, of someone who genuinely is always passing the buck and will still say what she thinks is politically correct to kind of defer attention on herself, redirect attention to someone else or an individual, or say, oh, we need this or we need that, or I'm trying to do what I can. But let me tell you something. After 9/11 happened, ladies and gentlemen, New York stepped up their police to where I remember the last time I went back home to visit the East Coast, and I remember around Thanksgiving, I remember Tony Bennett was singing down just aside from Times Square, and I went down there. I mean, I remember walking each block that I walked down the street. There was literally 2 police officers every 2 or 3 or 4, literally every 100 feet. I mean, that's how many police officers there were. Like each block, there was like between 6, 7, 10 police officers per block in certain areas, where it was just an absolute saturation of law enforcement, which was amazing. And I felt incredibly safe. I was like, wow, this is very different from the last time I was back home. But just looking at that as an example. So Chicago could do the same thing. You say, well, where's the resources? I mean, did they defund the police? Chicago lose funding? Yeah, well, you know, any Democratic cities where you have Democratic mayors and governors, yeah, they've definitely cut the budgets and slashed those budgets for police departments. We don't need to defund police. We need to increase funding for the police. The police need all the resources that they can get to be able to do their jobs to the best of their ability. And you have sad excuse for leadership like this, and then you got Councilman Alderman over here. Here he is. Oh, we need to call in the National Guard. And see, that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to justify the means where government can say, all right, well, let's just make it like communist China, where we got Humvees and tanks on every corner in neighborhoods and in cities, where we got, it'll just become the new normal, like a normal way of life, where we just have military just roaming around our streets. That's not the way it's supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a free republic. That's not a democracy. That's not the vision that our forefathers had intended for America. And that's not where we want to be. There are other ways to handle this. Now, if it came down to a point where it seems extreme right now, obviously, what was it, like 85 or 90 people shot on 4th of July weekend? I meant to do a video about that, but anyway, the point is, I'm sure you guys heard about it in the news. The point is that here we are. We're in a situation where we have leadership that is allowing this to escalate. And you say, somebody might say, what do you mean they're allowing it? What I'm saying is they're not doing their effing jobs. These people should be fired. If you could fire a mayor or a governor the same way that an employer could fire their cashier or retail representative, these people do not deserve to be in power. Some of these individuals, like Beetlejuice, aka Lori Lightfoot, she has not done anything, in my personal opinion, that has proved that she is worthy of the leadership position that she is in. And that's unfortunate and sad and pathetic. But that's the reality, my friends. Let me know what y'all think. Hit me up in the comments. What's your opinion about this situation? Should Chicago roll in the National Guard? And even if that does stop violence, is that the direction that America really wants to go down? Is that where we want to go, where we have National Guard in all major cities? Starting with Chicago? I mean, is that where we want to be? I don't think so.